Hi, Stage Sue back for another weekly video, all about aging well and owning our aging in positive, empowering, and meaningful ways. The last few weeks we've been talking all about aging well. How do we age well? And I talked about a model that I created, not an end-all model, but a model that I created that I use and that you can use too to really keep you zoned in on thriving with age and making the most of this time of life. First two sessions are part of this series. We're talking about our beliefs about aging and what we think about growing older and how that can impact us. The second one was about our focus and how we spend our time and energy, and again, how we can make that count and matter for our aging experience. Today's the third one. We're going to talk about our changeability. Probably the least favorite of most of the topics, because a lot of people don't like to talk or even think about change, but it's so critical to our aging well. So why changeability? Well, one of the biggest reasons is that change is one of the most powerful laws of nature. And we're part of nature. Aging is part of nature, the nature process, so that we have to flow with change. We can't get stuck in place in any part of our process. Otherwise, we're dead in the waters for really making the most of all of our lives, not just part of it. The other piece is that if you're not riding the wave of change with aging, you can quickly find yourself underneath it. Last week I talked about the idea of we have to stay ahead of change, not fall behind it. And the same with the changes that come. You want to ride that wave of change. You don't want to find yourself underneath that wave and drowning and struggling to breathe. That's not where you want to be. So a few years ago, and really more than a few years ago by now, one of my aging services business, this was the tagline that I chose. Live the seasons, embrace the change. Both for the seasons of life that we go through. Fall of life is after midlife. Later life you can consider winter. So those are the seasons of our aging process. But also to really tune into all the change cycles that we go through our entire life. If you really think about it, we are rolling in and out of changes throughout our life. And learning to do that, we just need to keep doing that as we get older and not lock in. So living the seasons, embracing the changes that come our way, just as we did when we were young. One of the ways we can do this is to really tap into changes we want to make or we feel like we need to make, like I don't feel like my memory is as sharp, so I want to focus in on my mind. Or maybe, a health issue pops up or a new health condition. You really need to zero in and learn about that health condition so you can manage it and master it as much as possible. But also any other thing you want to do in terms of the things that can count and matter for life. Tap into creativity, foster and expand community. All these things, they're changes. And they're positive changes if you view it as things you want to do or possibly you need to do as well. But that's one piece of the change process. The other piece is not only focusing on the things that we want to control, but also really being ready to adjust if something outside of our control comes our way, either for us or for someone, spouse, loved one, children, even grandchildren, is again being able to shift and change to the things that come our direction and things that we need to respond to. And what's the barrier to all this? Where do we get held up in doing this? One is just getting too locked into our comfort zones. And that's one thing kids have a big advantage over us with the change process. Early in life, changes come fast and furious, but kids are very flexible. Well, at the end of life, they can come fast and furious as well. And if we're too locked into our comfort zones, those are the people that have the most trouble with aging well when they're too locked in. And this includes our routines and our habits as well. And I talked about this weeks ago. This is when retirement turns into rut-tirement. If we're really locked in, well, I do that on Tuesday and I do it this way and I take that route to get to someplace I need to be. Change it up, flex, bring in new things into your life. because we want to keep our change muscles flexed. And the only way we can do that is to keep change really active in our lives with new things, with trying new ways of doing things, cooking new recipes, trying a new form of exercise, making a new friend. There's so many ways that we can flex our change muscles. And the key advantage to this, and this is one of my favorite slides ever, is it really keeps us flexible. And blessed are the flexible, for they shall not be bent out of shape. Well, I say I'll never be that flexible, but we can stay as flexible as we can be. Next week, I think I'll go back to the compass, maybe talk a little bit more about the pieces, the points of the compass, and how we can kind of tune into these things for our own lives and our own advantages. So I'll be back. I hope you'll join me. You can find my videos on YouTube at AgeTHRIVE. You can find me on Facebook at Let's Thrive with Age. And if you'd like to get these videos in just a short weekly newsletter, email me at AgeTHRIVE. No, not the @ sign, but at AgeTHRIVE.com. So AgeTHRIVE@gmail.com. Thanks. We'll see you next week. Have a good one, and let's keep thriving with